Actually, I'm curious, bro. How many games in until we are starting to get very concerned about this? Hello, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I am your host, Nicholas Paleolog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And today, we're going to be breaking down the Blue Jays hitters, who's hot and who's not. And before we get into that, make sure to click that subscribe button and that notification button on YouTube and subscribe elsewhere on all podcast platforms. So, who's hot and who's not? What should we start off with? Let's start off on a positive note.
Yeah, I think that we just literally went 3-4 days without Blue Jays baseball.
Yeah.
I want to feel positive. I want to feel excited about our next upcoming series.
Yeah.
And here's some guys to look out for. Number 1, Teoscar
Hernandez.
The bane of my blood. This kid literally makes my blood boil all the time, except for literally these first 7 games. He's been spicy, man.
Oh, yeah. Teoscar's one attribute that is just outstanding is the ability to hit the ball hard. But his one attribute that counters everything about him is his strikeouts. But so far, his ability to hit the ball hard has just surpassed everything else, and he is starting off the season hitting .321 with an on-base of .355 and a slugging, and this is unreal, of .821 in his first 28 at-bats.
That's the big number there. Because he's sitting at 4 homers right now?
Yeah.
4 homers? Yeah. So, this kid has been hitting it very hard, and he's been barreling it 20% of the time. He's actually been striking out literally around the same, his career average, but it's just the fact that he's been barreling it so bloody much that's literally making up for it.
Yeah, and hey, that's the thing. There's always those players that just swing hard, and it's when they make contact, it's gone. If they don't, they strike out. And they'll take those strikeouts if they give you what Teoscar Hernandez is providing.
Yeah, and I mean, whenever we watch Teoscar, the announcers literally, this is always what they say. They go, yeah, I mean, Teoscar, he definitely swings a lot and needs to work on the strikeouts, but he does hit the ball hard. And I mean, this is what they're talking about. If he can do it like this, I don't care if you strike out 200 times if you're hitting it like that.
And to put in perspective, everyone, when he hits the ball hard, so far this season in 28 at-bats, his hard hit ball percentage is 70%. League average is 42.6. So he is hitting the ball hard.
Yeah, he's definitely getting it. And now the one thing though is with Teoscar, I don't expect this to continue long term. I'd love it if it did, but the problem is his numbers are so absurdly better than everything he's done in his career that eventually the other shoe is going to drop. But right now, man, right now,
his expected batting average is .336.
Yeah, and that's literally one of the numbers I was going to point out because his career expected batting average is .233. So that's literally 100 points better than his career stats. So do expect him eventually to...
He's going to even out.
Yeah, he will even out. But you know what? If on a season of 60 games, Teoscar was to hit 275... That would be literally amazing to me.
And then I'm going to have a better outlook on him on next year. Because coming into this year, I had a low... we all saw him for the last 3 years. And, strikeouts. And he'd have those occasional games. But I want to see a season where he hits 270.
Yeah.
Maybe he hits, 12 to 15 homers. Now, that's a lot. But, on this rate, it could happen.
Well, I mean, he's on pace for sure. 4 homers in 7 games. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But... he is not the only man on the Blue Jays popping off right now. He's the best one popping off, but we also got another man. He is what I would consider to be our exact player. If I had to put this guy, I'd say that this guy is probably our best and most complete player. The guy I'm talking about is Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Yes, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has already had 22 at bats, a little bit less than everyone else due to some, was it a back injury?
There was
stiffness?
I think there was 2 games there where he was dealing with something like some minor oblique thing. I want to say.
Thing. Yeah.
But he's fine now.
Yeah.
He's just showing it at the plate.
Yeah, he's hitting a solid 318 batting average with a. And this is funny. I always find it funny when your on base percentage is like lower than your batting average. It's like 304, and then his slugging is 500. So a solid start, and that's honestly what I expected Gurriel coming into the season. That was like, if he's gonna make that next step, he's gonna do this.
Yeah, I think literally the one thing I want to see more from Gurriel is like a little bit more of that power, because he has been singling a lot. He's got 7 hits, 5 of those are singles, but I guess that's kind of what you can be expected.
Short sample size,
Yeah, of course, short sample size, and that is the thing. He's actually below his career average of barreling the ball, so I can only expect that will probably go up as time goes on, and if he can maintain this batting average when he starts barreling it more, then that power is going to come.
Yeah. And on that batting average note, his expected batting average is 280. So his numbers are just slowly moving up. And that's what you'd expect from him to make this jump this year.
Yeah, bro. And Gurriel, hitting 280 for me, as a 3-hitter, that's great, man.
Perfect.
You can't really expect a lot more from this guy. And,
Consistency.
Reliable. I feel like, and that's why, that was the comment that I made, this guy is the most exact that we had.
Yeah,
because, I can trust him. I feel like he will be consistent.
Yeah.
Hernandez, not consistent.
Yeah.
Very, very hot.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Streaky. He's a streaky guy.
Yeah, super duper streaky.
And now there's one more, not one more player, but did you have anyone that you kind of were in the middle ground?
Okay, look, I actually there was one notable mention in the hot. I cannot classify this player as being hot because he's only had literally, I think, 10 at-bats. That guy's Randall Grichuk. He was hitting 410 at-bats. He's obviously injured now. Would love to see him come back, but, he did well in his 10 at-bats, just a tiny honorable mention.
Just shout out Randall Grichuk. Hope you get back.
Exactly. I did have one guy, though, in the middle ground. He's not hot, but he's also not, cold. And for me, that guy was Bo Bichette. He's hitting 286 right now. His on base is 286, and his slugging is 381. So I'm like, all right, he's not hot, but he's also not cold either.
Yeah, he only played 4 games too. He missed 3.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really there's not a lot to talk about here. The one thing I will say that I noticed was that he's hitting the ball not very hard at all right now. But again, it's literally 4 games. I don't know. There's not a lot to talk about here.
And so let's go and move on to the sad category. Who is cold?
Yeah, who's icy man.
Cold. First man, want to point out, big name. That boy is Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
And in 29 at bats, he's hitting a sad 172. With an OPS or on base percentage of 200 and a slugging of 276.
Yeah, all right.
If anyone saw our video on breaking down Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you would have noticed that we talked about how he has got to get the ball in the air. And so far, Nick, what have you found?
So far, I'm going to preface what I say here, and I'm going to preface this by saying this. It's a 7-game sample size. So here's the thing. When I look at 172, 200, 276, that's a slash line right now. I think to myself, it's 7 games. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. But you know what? I actually am a bit concerned because of the reason behind this slash line. And the reason is the exact same things that he had to improve on last year, and he's doing them all again, but a little bit worse, actually. He's not hitting the ball at a good launch angle at all. It is literally worse than what he did last year. And he had very bad launch angle last year. He is getting great exit velo, but the problem is he literally keeps hitting the ball on the ground so much. Literally 63.6% of the balls that he hits are ground balls.
Yeah.
That is a lot of a percent of being a ground ball.
Yeah. And like you were saying, they're ground balls, but they're being hit hard. And the one stat that popped out to me that I want to throw out here is he's actually hitting the ball a lot harder than he did last year.
He is.
He's top 10 in hard hit percentage at 54.5 compared to last year, again, bigger sample size where it was 38.7. So he's hitting it a bit harder in the sample size.
Yeah.
And his expected batting average is 254. So obviously higher than 172, but I do agree, like, that expecting batting average would be way higher if his launch angle could be somewhere even in the double digit area. If you can get that to like 10, 11, 12, even just increase it just a bit, because we saw in spring training a lot of line drive homers that were leaving the yard.
Yeah, and the problem is, man, is he just keeps getting on top of it. Like, literally, and I got a number here, it's literally 50% of the time Vladdy tops the ball, and that means that, here's the ball and here's his bat going on top of it, basically, and that's
gonna lift that in the air.
No, you're gonna cause that to be a ground ball every time, right? And that's why you're getting out all the time. And yeah, we need you, and that's why I'm concerned. Because this is the stuff that he had to work on coming in. This is the stuff that we pointed out, that a lot of articles said he's got to work on this.
Yeah.
So if for instance, he was hitting this slash line, but he was, popping up a lot or something, I don't think I'd be as concerned because, okay, like, eventually those are going to get out with the power that you have.
And maybe, maybe he over-adjusts too much where he's starting to pop up. It's like, okay, so now you've made the adjustment. Now you got to find that, split the difference between that. And that's something throughout the entire year. As Blue Jays fans, whenever Vladimir Guerrero comes to play, you should be looking and seeing what is his launch angle. Is he getting it in the air? Is he grounding out? Because that's something that I know you and I literally every single time I think, okay, how are you going to hit this ball, Vladdy? Are you going to hit it a line drive? You're going to hit a fly ball? Or are you going to hit it, topple it over again?
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's the one thing, bro. Is like if he wants to get hot, then put it in the air, bro. We'll say it like a million times over, and we have.
Yeah. And we'll probably make another video in 2 weeks talking about it again.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we won't. I'm hoping by 2 weeks in, this guy is going to be, putting in... Actually, I'm curious, bro. How many games in until we are starting to get very concerned about this?
All right, it's tough to say because of the short sample size and the season's such a weird random number. But let's say, okay, so what are we, 7 games in already? I'd say if we're about halfway through, about 30 games, and his launch angle is still around that 5.
Like the average is not
6.
good,
If the average is still not good around 30 games, now I'm getting a little bit worried that this season's going to look really bad on his career stats.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, man, because okay, we're 7 games in, it's no big deal, but when you actually think about 7 games in, that's more than 1/10 of the season.
Yeah, literally more than 1/10 of the season.
That would be in a regular season, 16, almost 20 games is what we'd be looking at right now. I understand 7 games is small, but when we look back on this year, these 7 games mean a lot, what you're doing right now. So, if he's 30 games in and hitting around that 200 mark, this could not look good for Vladdy's legacy down the line and his growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on though, because we talked about this guy way too much. There is one guy who's getting it in the air a lot actually, but he's not getting the luck that he needs. That's our boy Rowdy. I just love saying that, dude.
Rowdy does.
Rowdy.
He looks like a rowdy.
Yeah, I feel like I'd walk into some I don't even know, barn party in the country, and I'd see this guy Rowdy. And yo, let's get rowdy.
He's wearing overalls with no shirt underneath, with a pig and a horse behind him. Let's do this.
So anyways, when he's not in the barn getting hammered, he is launching the ball pretty well. He's launching it at a good launch angle, but the stats aren't showing. He's currently rocking a slash line of 182 with an on-base percentage of 240 and a slugging of 318. Why do you think that's happening right now?
Well, I think honestly he's honestly just kind of getting unlucky. I mean, you look at his expected batting average and it's 248. And you look at his K percentage, and it's actually way down, only at 12%, with the league average being 21.7.
Yeah.
It's just, and also he's only had 22 at bats, right? And 22 at bats, it's okay, he's hitting the ball, he's putting in play. But I think you just got to give this guy a little bit more time because there's nothing really standing out that's like you're doing something not good, like a launch angle.
Yeah.
Everything's there, and it's just I'd say this guy, you give him another 7 games, give him 15 games, and you'll see him go over 200.
I think so too, bro. It's like I've never been a huge Rowdy Tellez fan, but in the end, like, he isn't doing anything overly bad right now. It's just he's cold. He is cold.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what this guy can do. He did hit a very critical double, I believe it was, in one of the games. Like, he came up and, like, we had men in scoring position, and then he went down 0-2, and I was like, oh, God, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Here we go. But then he smacked a double, and we were all like, it's Rowdy! So I expect more from you, Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any honorable mentions for you in the Who's Cold?
Well, I know that you had research on one, and that was Kevin Biggio.
Yeah, I did have research on Biggio as an honorable mention for being cold. Like, he came out the gate, man, like in that first series, and he was like our best player. Like, he was hot as hell.
Yeah.
And then we had the next series, and he was like very, very cold. Like, I think he had one home run, dude. He had a singular home run.
Yeah, 1 for 17.
Yeah, like he got cold, you know, and the slash line reflects it. He's hitting 200 right now with an on base of 250 and a slugging of 400.
He just needs to bad terminology. He needs to swing at the first pitch.
Yeah, bro. Like, he's straight up like, what was the number that I wrote? Yeah, first pitch swing percentage. This guy's only doing it 31.3% of the time. And the MLB league average is 60.6%. He's like almost half.
Any pitcher with a brain is going to go, well, clearly my odds are in my favor. If I throw a fastball, even if it floats over the middle of the plate, I'm probably going to get away with it because it's Kevin Biggio.
Dude, like, if I'm a flamethrower, all I'm thinking to myself is, let me just toss my 97 right down the center. Like, there's only a 30% chance that this guy actually even offers.
And will he even like hit it?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like,
know, that's another like.
I mean, he only hits it 20% of the time anyway. So it's like, his hard hit rate is down. It's bottom 6%. He's just. It's literally just
And again, small sample size. Maybe these numbers round out, and over the course of the season, we're definitely going to touch back on this and like see who's been hot, who's still hot, who's still cold, maybe who's flipped it around.
Bad series for Biggio though in the last series.
Yeah, very, very bad series, and hopefully the guys took some time off. I mean, I know Bichette in an article said he was very happy with how the team was hitting. With all their plate approach, their offense was really good. He was really happy about it, and I'm like, all right, you know what? And honestly, as a fan, I was happy about it too. Like, I was happy because compared to last year, I'm happy. I've seen some good signs. Yeah, some people are cold. That happens. That's natural. But overall, I'm still excited, looking forward.
Agreed, brother. So, who do we like? Let's just drag this video out even longer than it already is, because for the 3 people still watching, I just want to make a prediction. Who's going to have a good series? Who's going to have a good
We're facing Atlanta
series?
In 3, right?
Yeah.
Facing Atlanta. Oh, Mike Soroka just went down.
Mike Soroka did just go down. The whole year, bro. He's done.
Wow,
he's absolutely done.
I think we can attack their pitching for sure.
I think Bo Bichette is going to have a great series here. I don't know why. I just, based on the comment he said, he's confident. He's not doing bad right now. He's in the middle ground. I think he explodes on the scene here. I'm projecting him hitting for like 400 this series.
Okay. I would definitely lean towards like Bichette being like a definite one. Like, I can easily see this guy breaking out.
Yeah.
If I were to do a hot take though, not Biggio. I don't know about Vlad can turn around yet. Honestly, I would say Rowdy Tellez is going to hit 2 home runs. I'll say he hits 2 home runs.
I could buy into that. I could buy into Rowdy hitting 2 home runs.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Great. Good stuff.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen in the next series? Do you think someone's going to get hot? Is there a dark horse that we're not seeing here on the team? Like, Danny Jansen, like Danny Jansen could get hot. Who knows? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, please. And check us out on all of our platforms. Those platforms are Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public,
Breaker.
Breaker. I'm always missing one. And always, please make sure to subscribe and check us out on our Instagram.
And thank you so much for watching.
Go Jays. Go.